Okay, YouTube, might have seen the unboxing video. Should have it out by now. So now what I'm doing is I'm getting that tank that I was cycling ready to hold these cherry shrimp. So what I'm doing right now is I'm draining out the water from the tank and I'm going to lift it up and put it on those two shelves over there. So let me get this draining and I'll show you my next step. Okay, YouTube, got the water drained out and now we're gonna got it up on the tables, and you might notice this foam is thicker than this foam. That's because the tables are a little offset. Now I have a couple filter cartridges in here that I was using to get the tank cycled. Might just wait, keep those in there until the tank's filled up. Might want to keep them in there a little longer. But what I just picked up at my local fish stores, I got a nice piece of Malaysian driftwood. I got a heater, and I got a 25-gallon Aquatics sponge filter, but I think I'm going to leave the 10-gallon one in there because shrimp really don't need a lot of, shrimp don't produce a lot of waste, so shrimp don't need a lot of filtration in there. There should be enough surface area on the side of the tanks and in the gravel that you're not going to have a problem with that. Here we are, here's my nice piece of Malaysian driftwood. It's got a lot of nooks and crannies, and I bought it, you might not be able to see, but I bought it for this reason here. That hole goes in there quite far. Like, I can't even touch it the other end with my hand all the way in there. So there's a lot of nooks and crannies in here. There's a lot of tiny holes and crevices, and those babies are going to be able to hide everywhere. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to rinse this off, and you shouldn't have to. You don't need to soak it. You don't need to boil it. But I just rinse it off because you never know who was touching this and what was on their hands. You never know what kind of dust or other stuff this came in contact with, so just give it a nice clean rinse. This was a $18 piece of driftwood at Pets World Aqua Shop here in Greece. So I just rinsed it off, and a lot of dirt and debris came off. Now there looks like there's some root structure or something sitting on there. I think I'm just going to leave that on, give something extra for the shrimp to graze off of. Now if I was smart, what I would do is I'd go take the Java moss I have in one tank and super glue it to this. But right now I'm all out of super glue gel and I'm a little too lazy. I'll level my stones out in here. Now I'm putting the driftwood in first because I want something to pour the bucket of water onto, so it's not going to kick all my stones everywhere. So what I do to lay out my gravel in any tank is that I raise up the edges all along the back. The middle will be slightly shorter than it is on each of the back corners. And then it just kind of all gradually slopes to the front. And just kind of, I like that view because in my mind it's like everything's kind of grabbing you in and drawing you closer. I'm not sure how I want to lay this. You definitely want to get it laid before you start putting shrimp in there. Whoops. So since my driftwood is rocking, I just went and I grabbed a couple rocks, the ones that I've tested to make sure they're not leaching any minerals or other things. But not sure what color I want to use. I got a might be hard to see, but I got like a lighter pink and tan. And these ones are black and red. Maybe I'll just put them all in there. So I just needed the one, and I'm going to go with the pink and tan one, as it seems to wedge just perfectly under a rise on that driftwood. Alright, next thing I just picked up is an Aquatop 100-watt submergible glass heater. This is one that is good up to 25 gallons. So even if this was only rated for a 20-gallon, I generally like to go to a higher gallon and just use it on a lower setting, just so I'm not, that heater isn't burning itself out as much. Because you never know when a heater's going to go. What I first do is I dip the suction cups on in the water to get them nice and wet. And I'm just going to hide this heater right behind the piece of driftwood. Yeah, it's pretty well hidden. Okay, so the water in there is only about 60 degrees. I'm going to want to keep these guys at 72. But I'm also going to have to check the temperature inside the bag that I just got from Aquatics and see how warm those cherry shrimp are. So the shrimp that I got are actually at the same temperature. They're at 61 degrees, 60 degrees. So I think what I might do is I'll keep the tank at 60 degrees. The water that I pour in will be at 60 degrees. And from there, I'll let my heater take the temperature up, because these heaters don't just go straight to whatever you set it at. So I want it at 72. It's not just going to shoot it straight to 72 and keep going on until it hits 72. It kind of does it in stages and intervals. I don't know if that's to keep the heater safe as it's heating up, or if it's to be for your fish, or maybe both. So yeah, I'm going to heat it up to 60 degrees. Alright, so we are still at about 60, which is good. So I got another thing here. It's a TDS meter. These are very important to have. My TDS is about 155. My TDS out of the tap usually ranges between 120 to 130. I just measured the ones from Flip Aquatics, and those are at, let's see, those were at 186. So I'm off a little bit, but I do know that my water lacks calcium. You know, it doesn't have a lot of calcium, so what I've been using is this Seachem Reef Complete, which raises calcium. And I noticed that in my tank upstairs, after I started using this stuff, my shrimp stopped dying and they started becoming buried. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some of this stuff and raise my TDS up to about 180. So out of every tool that I use here, this has to be the most useful. This is a 5 milliliter pipette. I bought these off of Amazon. I think it was like 100 for $7. And I use this for everything. I use this multiple times a day. I feed brine shrimp. I feed frozen brine shrimp to my fish with it, and it's very useful because it has the markings there, so you can kind of judge how much you're feeding your fish and kind of dial it in from there. I also find it's very helpful when I'm using medications, when I'm adding this Reef Complete or anything else. I use this probably 10 times a day. Now I'm just going to add some of this calcium. And it says 1 capful, 5 milliliters, for every 20 gallons twice a week. Check calcium every 2 weeks and adjust amount or frequency accordingly. Most of that is just for saltwater aquariums for your reefs. Since I'm using this for shrimp, I'm just going to add about 5 milliliters for the 20 gallons. I'll check my TDS, and maybe in a day or two I'll add a little more. It even can be used as a stir. Let's see what 5 milliliters brought my TDS up to. It was at 155 before. We are now up to 185. So that's exactly what rod shrimp we're at. So with 5 milliliters of that stuff in my tank, it raised my TDS 30 by 30, and which made it perfect for what Rob has. So everything seems to be fine with this tank. The temperature is the same as his. I got the heater that'll help bring them up slowly. I'm going to keep an eye on that temperature every half an hour, and all into the night and into the morning. So let's start floating this shrimp. Alright, so there they are, acclimated to the water temp. I'll plug the heater in. Almost forgot the last piece. I added in the big top of leaf. Now I am going to add the Java moss in there, but I'm going to wait till the water's up to that 72-degree mark, because I don't want to put that in now and hurt it in any way. Maybe it'll stunt its growth, maybe it'll cause it to die back some. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to wait till the water's up to temp, maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow. And I'll show you when I drop these guys in after they're sitting there for a little while longer. I am going to take some of my water and kind of sprinkle it in there. Probably every half an hour to an hour. I'm not going to go crazy with it because there's not a lot of water in there to begin with. That's probably good. Just a little stream of water. A couple drops. So now that the tank has been set up for a little while, I just want to get a couple shots of the tank, some close-ups, so you can see how the shrimp are doing, see how they're playing along in there. I'm not sure if I'm going to add Java moss or what type of moss I'm going to add in there. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to take a bunch of this Java moss out of this tank. This is the Java moss from Aquatics off of Amazon.com. And it's growing very well for me, so now I can take a bunch of this patch out and go plant it into my shrimp tank so they can start living in there and get a little more comfortable in the tank. Okay, so here's the end result. Got my catappa leaves, my driftwood, my rocks, Java moss. I think it looks pretty good. I think the shrimp will be pretty happy. There's a little guy down there. There's another little guy. One swimming. So far in this tank, everything's going great. I got them Thursday. Today's Monday. Still no deaths. I think I had counted about 7 or 8 saddled females. So hopefully they should be giving birth. Or they should be becoming buried within, the 30 days. But so far everything's looking great. Thank you again, Rob and Amanda from Flip Aquatics. I love the shrimp. Love the price. Love the foods and the net I got with it. So everything seems to be going good. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to stay up to date. Thank you all for watching. God bless you guys and have a good day.